Hey guys, welcome to Ozzie Reviews. I've got a brand new flashlight here from Fenix. This is their brand new and latest model called the RC10. It's actually a rechargeable LED flashlight, and it's only recently hit the shelves here in Australia, so I've got it here today for us to have a look at. So let's open it up and take a look at the layout inside. Okay, so as you can see, it's fairly well laid out, nicely presented. Got the car charger here. This will just fit any cigarette lighter in any vehicle here in Australia, so that's handy. We've got the torch mount for the charger. We've got the AC or wall adapter. It's also the piece that fits the Australian sockets just for us to add on. So it's fairly easy, just slips into place there and locks in. You'll see down the bottom there's a little button here, so you can push that in and then just slide it off if you need to. I'll just put that on for the time being. Okay, we've got a lanyard here, so you can just tie that down on the end of the torch and have it hanging off the wrist or something like that. Now we've got the torch itself. We'll take a look at that in detail just in a moment. We've got the user manual here, warranty card, and then there's just another little product card here on different models that are available from Fenix. So I'll just put a lot of this stuff off to the side for the time being, and we'll go back to it in a little bit more detail in just a moment. Okay, let's take a look at the settings first of all on the torch. Now, according to the user guide here or user manual, it has 4 settings. Those of you who saw my review on the LD20 flashlight from Fenix will understand what the different settings were with that one, because I went into it in a bit of detail. So with this one, it's much the same as the LD20 in the sense of its level of settings. You have the low, medium, high and turbo mode, and then you've also got a strobe mode on this flashlight or torch. Okay, so on the low mode here, it's reported to be 5 lumens and run for 142 hours. The medium setting is 40 lumens and runs for 26 hours 30 minutes. The high setting is 140 lumens and runs for 6 hours and 10 minutes. And the turbo mode is a massive 380 lumens and has a run time of 1 hour 55 minutes. Now, if you do remember the review I did on the LD20, I mean, I was very impressed with that. I mean, it was 180 lumens on that turbo mode, and that certainly lit up a hell of a lot of area there in the darkness. It was quite a strong flashlight from the tests that I did with it. Now, this thing here pumping out 380 lumens is just fantastic. Now, it's got the same bulb as the LD20. It's got the Cree XPG R5 LED bulb. So the same obvious technology and so forth in that. It has 50,000 hours of run time, so I mean that's more than enough there. That'll last you for many years to come, I'd imagine. And it's waterproof as well, so we'll test that out. How about we look at doing that right now actually, and then I can continue on with the features. So I've got my little bowl here, or container, that's filled up with water. So we'll just plonk it straight in and I'll run through the rest of the features. Okay, it comes with a 3.6 volt rechargeable battery. The AC charger and the car charger is a big plus with this, especially for me. I mean, I'm always out. I love camping and doing that sort of thing and getting away. So to have a flashlight that I can simply plug into the cigarette lighter in the car would just be fantastic, and that's why I was really keen to get my hands on this. The torch itself is 16 centimeters in length. It's a little bit bulkier than the LD20 because the LD20, for those of you who do remember the review, took 2 AA batteries. So this is a lot more bulkier in that regard. It's definitely not a thin flashlight. It's made from durable aircraft grade aluminium, and you can feel that when you handle the torch in general. It's just got a good feel to it. There's that anti-slip or slip resistant body that's on this part here, so we'll just take it out. Let's just turn it on quickly and look at that. So I mean, it's definitely waterproof. So we'll just drip dry it a little bit here, and then we'll run through the rest of the features now we've got that out of the way. Okay, it's also 200 grams in weight, so the actual weight of the torch, that includes the batteries, mind you, so it's fairly good. Like, I mean, it's not a heavy torch. Those of you who remember the old days when we used to carry around the mag lights, you know, there wasn't a lot of different torches of high quality that were on the market, you know, all those years ago. And those mag lights, I mean, they were great for using as a baton or something like that if you needed it, but they were really hefty in carrying them around, and this certainly isn't the case nowadays when you've got torches like this that are so light, yet punch out. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head what those mag lights punched out in power, but these here seem to be, you know, 4 times the brightness. They're probably more. I'd have to have a look at the stats, but you know, the actual power you get from these small torches nowadays far exceeds what we got all those years ago with the older technology. Okay, so let's run through the settings. On the back of the torch here, you'll see there the button at the rear to activate the torch on and off, and there's also another button at the rear here. Now, I'm not too sure if you can see that too well on the camera, but it's actually a rectangle and an arrow in one direction, so that's actually a button to cycle through the levels. Okay, so you low, medium, high, and then into turbo mode. So let's just give a demonstration of that. Okay, just activate the torch. I've got it just set in turbo mode at the moment. Now, the camera automatically focuses the lens, so sometimes when I look back when I'm actually editing these videos, I look back and I see the torch and the brightness and so forth, and I think, oh, that doesn't quite look as bright as what it did in real life. So just to give you an explanation, I mean, it's extremely bright on this turbo mode. I can really see that 380 lumens powering out of this torch. It's it actually hurts to look in the middle there of that center white dot. It is that bright. So we'll drop it down a level. So just here we go, just hit that once on the side. That drops it down to its low mode. Okay, then you've got up to the medium mode, and then the high mode, and then back on the turbo. Okay, one thing I'd like to point out, and I thank a user who made the comment on my review of the LD20. With these lights, I only demonstrate the modes going through and cycling through. Just because I cycle through doesn't mean when you turn the torch off and then back on again that you need to cycle through those modes. You don't need to do that. Whatever the last mode that you were in with these Fenix flashlights, when you activate the flashlight again at the rear, it'll go straight back to that mode again. So, you know, we're still in that same mode as it was prior to turning it off. So the one thing I really like about this flashlight is the fact that, we'll bring it back down to low. If you remember on the LD20, you had to go into turbo mode and then you could activate the strobe. Well, that's not the case with the RC10. All you need to do is just hold down the cycle button on the side and you'll see it goes into a strobe mode. So, and I mean, that's on the lowest setting, where on the LD20 you couldn't do that. So we can go up, we just hit it again and it goes back to just the normal continuous beam at low mode. Go onto the medium setting, hold down the button to the side, and that can also be put on strobe mode as well. So I mean, that's a really cool feature that I think probably would have eventuated from a bit of feedback from various users. So I'll just press it again. Okay, let's go up to the high mode. Oops, sorry, I held that down. Press it once, up to the high mode. Now hold that down. And look at that, that goes on the strobe mode as well. So press it again, let's go up to turbo mode. And we'll hold it down. Only takes a split second, you hold it down, let it go, and it's into the strobe mode. So I mean, that's extremely bright. So we'll take that off. And then we can turn just off at the rear. And just to demonstrate, once again, turning it back on, it goes straight into that same mode that it was on prior to turning the torch off. On the side here, obviously, you've just got the connectors for the charger. There's a small slot at the bottom, a big slot at the top, so obviously it can only go in one way on the charger, so you can't mix that up. So let's get out, let's go and have a look at just how bright this is in the field and put it through a couple of tests. Okay, I've just got the car charger for the torch here, so I'll just plug it in and just show you how it works. So it plugs straight into the cigarette lighter. You'll see a green light comes on. That's just to tell you that power is actually going through to the charger. Now on the charger itself, you can see the little notches. There's a wider one and then a smaller one. You just marry that up with the bottom of the torch. It can only go on one way, as I've said. So all you do is just push it down and then just twist into place, and then it locks into place. You know it's definitely on because if you actually have a look back at the cigarette lighter, you can see that the red light comes on. Now that's just to indicate that the torch is actually charging. Once the torch gets to its full capacity, the light will go from red and then back to green, then you'll know it's ready to go. Okay, we've just got the light on the lowest setting and we're just focusing on the ground in front of us here. So I mean, at this setting, it's not a hell of a lot of light, but it'd be enough if you were just hammering in a few tent spikes or pegs and just doing general things just in close proximity where you didn't need that extra beam. What I'll do for demonstration purposes is just across here, we'll go up to a tree that's about 10 meters away from where I am. Now, this is on the lowest setting, mind you, so we'll go up to the medium setting now and we'll just see the difference. Okay, that's on the medium setting there. So you can see that it lights up a lot more of the branches. I mean, it's not spectacular, but there's still a fair amount of light coming out at that distance. So we'll go up onto the high setting now. So you can see there, that certainly illuminates a lot more of the branches. You can see a lot more of the leaves in detail and just the general shrubs around at the base of the tree. So we'll go up to the turbo now. You can see once again, that's on its brightest level. That is the full 380 lumens coming out there. The whole tree there, you can see all the branches at the base. You can see all the leaves and all the shrubs around the bottom. So that's a lot of light that it's throwing out. Just to show you too, we'll come back round and down at the bottom of the gully here, it's about 50 meters away, we'll show you just how powerful this flashlight is. Now I can see the trees there, and I mean that's fairly good for a flashlight just running off a rechargeable battery. Okay, so I've got the light still on the highest setting, the turbo mode at 380 lumens. I'll shine it now directly at the camera so you can just see just how bright this beam is at that full strength. Now I can see the camera in full detail. I can see also the landscape in the background, no problem whatsoever, out to about probably 75 meters before it tapers off and the shrub gets too thick. Now I'll just put it into the strobe mode so you can see just how bright that is as well. So I mean, it seems to flicker between a very fast strobe and then a slower strobe and then back to a very fast one. Okay, so I've got the torch on the lowest setting here just to give you a comparison. If we're having a look in a vehicle, you're searching for keys, or those of you out there, LE or military guys who may search vehicles as part of your duty. Now we'll go through the different levels and see what the torch looks like in the cabin. So it's just on the lowest setting, as I say. Let's move it up to the medium setting now. You can see that it throws a fair amount of light out. I mean, this would be ample for looking for different objects in the cabin of the car. We'll go up to the high setting now. You see once it's on the high setting, this bounces a fair bit of light back. We'll go up to the turbo one finally, and you can see there I'm having to squint a bit. It's probably, in all honesty, a bit too bright for looking around the cabin of the vehicle. And you can see just in general the amount of light that it throws out too. I mean, the last LD20 that I reviewed, that had 180 lumens. Keep in mind this is 380 lumens, so the actual power of this torch is really quite a big improvement over that model. In general though, one thing I've noticed since I've been using the torch on the farm is the cycling button up the back of it on the rear is actually really hard to find in the darkness. So it doesn't stand out because you've got little indents and ribs, just part of the design anyway, and the button is fairly flat. So that's probably just a little negative I don't really like about the torch. But there's an easy way around it. I like to have it in the turbo mode anyway, so when I switch it off and I switch it back on, it goes back to that mode obviously. So that's easy enough, sorted out. The other thing I really like about it is the fact that it's got the car charger. For me, I love being outdoors, camping, going on long trips and so forth. So having a car charger and not having to worry about extra batteries for the torch is a real big bonus. Also, if I'm staying in a hotel, motel, that sort of accommodation, I can plug the torch just straight into the wall with the charger, so that's another big benefit. So overall, I think the torch is really good, and I'm sure Fenix will probably come out with a few attachments later on down the track, like they have done with the previous models. Okay, I'll finish up there, guys. I really enjoyed doing this review. It was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you did, please remember to subscribe online. Ozzie Reviews is my channel under YouTube. And also remember to log into Facebook and feel free to leave comments and your feedback there. So thanks again for watching.